Okay, so what we're going to be doing in this particular tutorial, again, our focus is on backgrounds, but this time it's about swapping out backgrounds for new backgrounds, but making the scene and the lighting look much more natural to fit your new landscape or your new background. So let's get started with this. Here we've got our template layer. We have the A4 sheet for our front cover of our magazine, and for this particular one we're going to be using this lovely picture of Sheena. So I've already extracted it from the background, that's already been done. What I'm now going to do is move this image into here. I'm going to Command T that, hold Shift and just resize it slightly, just so she's in the background just there, that's fine. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this magazine, I don't know, a fashion autumn special issue. And all I've got here is this image from Google Images of this particular background of an autumn scene. Okay, not particular high resolution. This particular file is at 100% already. And all we're going to do is we're going to drag this into our magazine mock-up front cover. Okay, as you can see, very small compared with this resolution, but that doesn't matter. What we're going to do is we're going to have a bit of a play with this. Okay, so we're going to drag that underneath Sheena here to make sure it's in the background. There will be some final touches we have to make to that particular foreground extraction of Sheena, but I'm going to Command T that and I'm going to make it big. Okay, now you may be thinking at this point, what the bloody hell is he doing? Bear with me. Okay, I'm just going to put this in the background for now. We're just going to pop it there, not too important. Now again, it has sharpened up a little bit from our selection, but it still doesn't look great. So what we're going to do now is we are going to take this background layer. We are now going to we're going to go to filter, and we're going to go to blur, and we're going to go to Gaussian blur. Okay, and what that will allow us to do is really blur out this main image. So instead of having it very sharp, we're going to blur it out like so. And what that allows us to do is to create a shallow depth of field with our foreground and our background. So we'll just hit OK there, and then we've got a much more dynamic picture, much more aesthetically pleasing. It now looks like a scene, an autumn scene, nice and smooth, shallow depth of field, and we are going to now make our foreground subject, which in this case is Sheena. We're going to make a match the background to make it look much more natural. Okay, so we've already cut her out, but what we want to do first, before we do that, is neaten up this extraction here. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit just here. As you can see, the hair here has stayed with the image after taking it out of the white background. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this brush a little bit bigger. I'm going to zoom in here, and again, this is a bit of a fiddly process. Make sure you've not made the same mistake I just have, and make sure you've selected that image. I'm just going to take out all the white area here. It may look a bit odd at first, looks like we're cutting her hair off. Not quite. Again, it's a fiddly process, so I'm just going to go through it quickly. Okay, so I've just been around the edges there, and I have just trimmed them so that we don't get that white part. Okay, using the same technique I outlined in the Refine Eraser tutorial, where we use the eraser on a 0% hardness to just refine the very edges when we zoom in. Okay, but there's another technique I'm just going to introduce you to here, and that is to look here at the parts where the white from the background of the original image is still coming through. So what we're going to do here is take the spot healing brush tool, and what that does is it automatically selects the pixels from around the area and heals this area in the middle. So I'm just going to select that just there, and what that should do then is select from a distance. It will look like just hair like before, so it takes out those niggly white areas that would look silly if we were to erase them. Okay, that's an earring there, so like that. Okay, so that's those removed with the spot healing brush tool. Great tool to use to get to know. And then there we go. She looks like more of the scene, but again, we're not quite there yet. What we've got to do now, I think, is make the lighting of the image seem more natural to the location, which is supposed to be in a forest during autumn. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the image of Sheena again. Now, in order to do that, we're going to head over to our layers panel over here and select our layer, and we're going to hold Control on a PC, but for me it's a Mac, and what you'll see here is that a little marching ants box appears underneath. So I've done that. Okay, make sure you click on the mask, it's this one you want, the layer mask thumbnail. Hold Command and click, and that will give you your outline of Sheena, just here. And then what we want to do is click on our layer 1, which is our background layer, still with Sheena selected, and then what you're going to do is hit Command J, Control J on a PC, and what that will do is it will make a new layer of your selection, which was Sheena, and have it fill with the layer you had selected, which was the background layer. So now what you've got here is a selection of Sheena with the forest as its fill. So we're now going to bring that layer to the top, and you'll see pretty much all of Sheena here disappear, okay, because we've got that new layer on top. That's the forest cutout of Sheena. And all we're going to do there is look at this panel here where it says normal. It's a drop down box, and what you've got here is a lot of different blending modes. Now you want to have an experiment with these, but the one I often use is soft light. So I'm going to click on soft light just here, and that will blend that new foreground layer with the stuff behind. Now it looks quite harsh at the minute, it looks quite intense. So all we're going to do now is bring down the opacity of that. So if you go to 0, you'll see it goes back to the way it did before, but I'm just going to bring it up to about 20, 25? 25 there. Now as you can see, if we just play with that on and off, we can see that that image now has a new colour tint that resembles the background image, okay, making the scene look a lot more natural. Okay, one of our last steps is we're just going to go a little bit further in making Sheena look more part of the background. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this layer of Sheena here. So if I duplicate layer here, duplicate that layer, and all we're going to do is we're going to go back to our filter tool. We're going to go back to our Gaussian blur here, and I'm just going to turn the blur down a little bit so it's not as powerful, not as blurry. With 9.7, that should be fine. So it's blurry now, but I'm going to go back to our soft light blending mode for that layer. Again, that's quite strong, but it gives a much softer feel to the image and blends much more naturally with the background. Okay, so I'm just going to bring so if we take that back to 0, you can see that it's like it was before, but I'm just going to bring that up a little bit to make it look much more natural to the scene. I'm going to keep it on 49, okay? But then what you've got there is you've now got an image that matches with a background, okay? So if there has been problems with your background images, there is a way to fix it, and we can make it look more natural in fitting with the tone that you want to apply, okay? And then this could be the base of your magazine cover, and you could make some further image adjustments from there.